NCAA bylaws state that the president of the university must be involved in the oversight of the finances of athletics, and so I'm planning to do that.
Schnatter has not elaborated on his comments since making them on April 12th and declined to speak to reporters today, except to say he was happy with the changes.
Now, your WLKY weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
Hey, what a great day across the region. Feeling a little bit more like, I don't know, June, July than late April out there. Boy, temperatures really skyrocketing on some gusty southwesterly breezes. Lots of sunshine from start to finish. Live look from the Sheraton back towards the bridges. There's Kingfish there, and notice Old Glory just straight out right now with those gusty southwesterly winds. But again, mostly sunny skies overhead. So any plans you have as we move deeper into the evening, go for it. It is going to be fantastic around the area. As far as the numbers go today, look at this. We topped out at 85 degrees. The average today, right around 72. Not a record, but you know what? That's pretty close. The old record 90 set back in 1989. As far as what's going on right now around the viewing area, widespread 80s, low to middle 80s at last check, warm spot. Downtown region coming in with 85, as I mentioned. Next several hours, any plans you have outside, go for it. A little bit breezy, staying warm. 85 at 6, slipping to around 80. Once the sun sets. That's 8:30 now, by the way, getting later and later as we head through this spring season, of course. 75 at 10 o'clock tonight. Clouds will be on the increase, but still dry. All right, here's the radar scope. Nothing happening around Louisville, nothing happening around the viewing area. But look at these big storms on a scattered basis. Illinois down through sections of Missouri. As we go through the evening, the bigger storms will stay west. You can see severe thunderstorm watches, even some warnings in effect off to the west of us. And through midnight at least, that's where the better chances for the storms will be staying. I think the viewing area through midnight stays on the dry side, but you know what? Some of those storms, Vicki, Eric, will get here very, very late tonight into tomorrow morning. They will be in a weakened state, but that'll be one rain chance. We'll talk about several rain chances heading our way over the next 5 to 7 days. That's coming up on the 7-day forecast.
So I know we're paying a lot of attention to the balloon glow on Friday.
Yeah.
But tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., the charity balloon race.
Now you're in that, right?
I'm supposed to go up in it, but that doesn't look.
We'll take a look at the forecast. I think that's in jeopardy right now, guys, with a rain chance, number one, and the winds may be too strong, even if we don't get the rain. Okay. So that one's definitely in jeopardy.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Okay.
A warning weeks before his suicide.
Ahead on WLKY, what a jailhouse friend of Aaron Hernandez says he told him about a month before he was found dead. But first,
the Trump administration unveils the president's tax plan. I'm Aixa Diaz at the White House with the details and the criticism.
You're watching WLKY News at 5.
Touting tax reform, the Trump administration reveals a proposal it says will grow the economy, simplify the tax code, and lower rates.
Aixa Diaz is at the White House for us tonight with a look at the details.
Vicki, Eric, the president's plan would reduce the number of personal income tax brackets, lower the business tax rate, and double the standard deduction. But critics say the proposal mainly benefits the rich. The Trump administration says the president's plan will make it easier for Americans to file their taxes. The proposal includes reducing the current number of tax brackets from 7 to 3.
A 10% bracket, a 25% bracket, and a 35% bracket.
The plan would also eliminate all tax deductions except for mortgage interest and charitable donations. On the business side, President Trump wants to lower the tax rate for corporations and smaller businesses to 15%, something critics say would add trillions of dollars to the deficit over the next decade.
This will pay for itself with growth and with reduction of different deductions and closing loopholes.
The claim that it's going to unleash so much growth, it'll finance itself, that's completely laughable.
Josh Bivens of the Economic Policy Institute says the president's proposal does little for low to middle income families and helps wealthier Americans like the Trumps.
So unlike President Trump, who makes a ton of income from big and rich businesses, but which happen to not be incorporated, will get a very big tax break from this.
Administration officials say they're working with Congress to move quickly on this and get legislation passed this year. They say they'll release more details, like specific income brackets, at a later date. At the White House, Aixa Diaz, WLKY News.
And looking through the president's plan, it would also reduce the tax burden for the wealthy by eliminating the alternative minimum tax. In addition, the plan repeals the estate tax and provides tax relief for child care expenses.
President Trump signed an executive order mandating the review of dozens of national monuments designated by his predecessors over the past 20 years. The move could upend protections of federal lands in Utah and other states. During an appearance at the Interior Department, the president said the order will end what he is calling an egregious abuse of federal power. All 100 senators were invited to the White House today for a briefing on North Korea. Senators boarded buses for a rare trip to the White House to hear from the Trump administration how it will tackle the North Korean threat. Overnight, the U.S. military moved key parts of a controversial missile defense system into position in South Korea, meeting some protesters.
The purpose of this briefing is to tell us the situation and the intelligence we have and what the options that we have.
So far, the Congress and the American public have heard very little in the way of strategy with respect to North Korea.
The administration says all options are on the table, including military action. So far, North Korea has not successfully developed a long-range missile capable of striking the United States.
Happening right now, a Lexington councilwoman is accused of stealing the identity of an employee while she was the general manager of a Lexington hotel. A grand jury indicted Sasha Love Higgins on charges of identity, theft, forgery, and 3 counts of theft by deception. Her attorney said she'll plead not guilty and plans to fight the charges. If she is convicted of a felony, state law says she would have to vacate her office. She will be arraigned next week. South Carolina police officers injured a suspect who fired at them while shooting a man at a gas station. The Columbia police chief said the shooting happened this afternoon at a Walmart parking lot. Both the person pumping gas and the suspect are in surgery. The FBI has taken control of a building in central Houston. According to authorities, FBI personnel are conducting an investigation of an engineering company. Right now, no arrests have been made. They would not confirm the reason for the raids.
A jury is now deciding if a man should get the death penalty for ambushing 2 Pennsylvania troopers at their barracks. Eric Freen was convicted last week of killing 1 trooper and injuring another in 2014 ambush. A law professor told jurors today inmates doing life can earn substantial privileges for good behavior, letting them take advantage of prison recreational and work opportunities. The defense says Freen should get a life sentence. A vacant home was leveled after an explosion in St. Louis today. Officials say the explosion was so forceful, debris landed on neighboring roofs. Several homes were damaged. Fire crews are going door to door, telling people in the area to shut their gas off. No injuries reported. One of the often other homes on the street were evacuated just as a precaution.
Rebuilding that collapsed section of Interstate 85 in Atlanta will cost up to $16 million. The Georgia Department of Transportation set a June deadline for the completion of the new I-85 bridge. The federal government is expected to pay 90% of the costs. The collapsed bridge was set on fire last month. The man is facing arson and property damage charges. Investigators say he could also face federal charges. A jailhouse friend of Aaron Hernandez is suggesting the former NFL star hinted at his suicide weeks before his death. Hernandez was found hanging by a bedsheet in his prison cell last week. An attorney for inmate Kyle Kennedy said today Hernandez told his client back in early March that he was thinking that he was going to, quote, hang it up.
My client remembered at that point in time a letter that he received from Mr. Hernandez approximately 3 weeks earlier, where Mr. Hernandez did state, "I think I'm going to hang it up, LOL." My client at the time didn't read into that, thought it was a joke, but obviously 3 weeks later when we see what happened, it has a different meaning.
The attorney also said the 2 inmates were close friends and even requested to be cellmates months before Hernandez died. He says that request was denied by prison officials.
Stopping mothers from passing their addiction onto their babies. Ahead on WLKY, the local hospital helping pregnant women. But first,
LMPD is taking a unique approach to giving back to the community. I'm Emily Maha. Coming up, I'll tell you about their new furry friends.
A livestock truck overturned today near Youngstown, Ohio. It was carrying pigs to a slaughterhouse at the time. 2 of those pigs got loose, but they were found nearby. The pigs will be taken to a livestock auction for now. The driver is charged with operating a vehicle while intoxicated. Mayor Fischel says this year's Give a Day week set a world record with more than 180,000 volunteers giving back across the city.
And the Louisville Police Department's K-9 unit did not miss the opportunity to help out. Emily Maha tells us how they spent the day giving back.
The LMPD K-9 unit is out here giving back in their own unique way. And what better way than to hang out with the dogs?
Get your close up. 15 minutes of fame, homegirl. Yeah. You're a good puppy. You go run. Come on.
You know, it's kind of bad for me to show up here because I want to adopt 2 or 3 of them because they're all looking at you and wagging their tail.
These Louisville Metro police officers love dogs.
Oh, it's the best job in the world. I've been on the police department for close to 27 years now, and working with the dogs has by far been the best 9 years I've experienced on the department.
The mayor's Give a Day week is wrapping up, and the LMPD K-9 unit thought the best way for them to give back is at the animal shelter.
What are you doing, big boy? What are you doing? And everybody concentrates on helping the people, which is great, but we thought we'd come out here and hang out with the animals and take them for a walk and kind of maybe brighten their day up.
Sergeant Scotty Frank has been part of the K-9 unit for almost a decade. He says there's a special relationship between an officer and his K-9 partner.
They become part of the family. You bond up with them, and you know, when you celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas at home, the dog's there with you. It's part of you.
Louisville Metro Animal Services says anyone can volunteer to spend time with the pets, just like the LMPD K-9 unit did. It's part of the shelter's foster program.
It's a nice feeling to come out here and kind of walk them around and enjoy some of the day with them.
All of the dogs that are out here today are available for adoption. Emily Maha, WLKY News.
If you're interested in adopting any of the dogs or volunteering, you can stop by the Louisville Metro Animal Services Animal House on Newburgh Road. All of the dogs in today's story are free to adopt as part of the Shelter Pay It Forward adoption program.
New hope tonight for the smallest victims of addiction.
What I'd been, putting the baby through and didn't even realize it.
WLKY, how local hospitals working with pregnant addicts to make sure their babies are born safe and healthy.
My goodness, some wonderful weather out there on this Wednesday. We're talking middle 80s right now, but the showers and storms are starting to really blow up off to the west of us. We'll talk about when we too will have those chances. That's coming up next on your 7 Day.
Now, your WLKY weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
What a terrific spring afternoon across the region. Beautiful live look from the Bristol Restaurant in Jeff, looking back towards the south-southwest over downtown Louisville, the 2nd Street Bridge, the mighty Ohio. Notice we still have mostly sunny skies out there. It's breezy, it's warm. It's fantastic, isn't it? We topped out at 85 degrees so far. That should be 85 right there. Morning start was in the upper 50s, and so far, no rainfall. We're not expecting any rainfall as we roll through the evening. It's well after midnight tonight. We'll actually get a shower, even a thunderstorm threat in here. Right now, 85 across the board. That's been the high today. The humidity, 36% of south breeze in here, kind of gusty, between 15 and 20 miles per hour. Look at the weather close to home. Just lots of sunshine out there, but boy, those big storms are not too far away. Out across the land of Lincoln, down through Missouri, as well as Arkansas. That's where we do have some severe weather starting to blow up. Severe thunderstorm watches and some warnings across southern Illinois into the Boot Hill, Missouri. And then that becomes a tornado watch, even a tornado warning or two down there just east of Little Rock right now. So some pretty inclement weather going on off to the west and southwest. But here's the catch. We believe we're not going to get any of that severe weather. This evening, it stays dry, no question about it. Here's the future clouds and radar. There we are, midnight already. Notice the clouds increasing across our western communities, still basically clear from I-65 and points off to the east. But look at those showers and storms. Now watch what happens through the overnight. They really start to weaken as they move in our direction. Looks like as we move towards 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, that batch of rain will be moving towards the I-65 corridor. So yes, tomorrow morning does look unsettled, but I'm not expecting severe weather, just a scattering of showers and a few storms very late tonight through early tomorrow morning. Low temperatures, it's going to be mild overnight tonight with readings dropping back into the low and middle 60s. And this will be, again, tomorrow morning. We'll start out around 66 in town. There's that chance for scattered showers tomorrow morning. And again, the Great Balloon Fest kicks off tomorrow morning with the charity race. If you're planning on heading to that event, just know this one's in jeopardy right now. Number one, there's a chance for rain showers, but number two, even if we don't get the showers, it's going to be breezy in the morning. That in itself right there could really play havoc with the balloon launch. So again, this event tomorrow morning is certainly in jeopardy. But as we move through tomorrow afternoon, watch what happens. There goes that system. We get back into some afternoon sunshine. It'll be breezy tomorrow, but then those winds will really slacken off just in time for tomorrow evening. So the glimmer down at the waterfront tomorrow night looks great right now as we drop into the 60s for the event itself, and those southwest breezes really coming down. So things looking great for the glimmer as we move through again tomorrow evening. Here's the Great Balloon Glow forecast Friday night, and this is one of the bigger events. Typically draws about 50,000 people each year as long as the weather is nice. Vicki Dorch and myself will be broadcasting this event live on MeTV 32.2 Friday evening starting at 9, and the forecast right now looks pretty good. Upper 70s, partly cloudy skies. There will be a storm threat, but we believe that's going to come in after the Balloon Glow Friday evening. Here's the forecast in detail. Next few hours, boy, it looks great, dry and warm. 80s back into the 70s once the sun goes down. 75 at 10 o'clock tonight. Now, late tonight through tomorrow morning, a scattering of showers, a few isolated storms. Severe weather is not expected. We'll start out at 66. We'll be dry, though, by midday tomorrow as we're 68. And here's your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow's high right around 74. Again, tomorrow evening is fine. All day Friday, just fine, even Friday evening. Then, guys, the next storm threat moves in Friday overnight through Saturday morning. And, yes, that means the mini and the full marathon, the balloon race itself. Yeah, we're going to be dodging raindrops at that time. So we'll really break down that part of the forecast for you in the next check of weather.
But let me get this straight. No jacket, no umbrella, no electric blanket.
For Balloon Glow.
For Balloon Glow.
Looks great.
All right.
Yeah, I think that rain chance gets here midnight or after. Friday evening is looking terrific.
I was complaining about
just in case.
I was complaining about the rain last year during the mini marathon, and someone goes, "Oh, what was your time?" I said, "Oh no, I didn't run it."
Just there.
We don't do that.
We don't do that.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay.
You are not alone. A Louisville doctor is sending a message of support to pregnant women who are addicted to drugs or alcohol. He's telling them that there is help out there. Jennifer Bayless continues our series State of Addiction with a look at a program in Louisville working to save both mother and baby from addiction.
Well, pregnancy and heroin can be a deadly mix for mother and her unborn baby, but Norton Healthcare Dr. Jonathan Weeks is making it his mission to stop drug use during pregnancy.
He was a survivor. He was a little survivor.
Born 6 pounds and 3 ounces, Matthew Bryan Butler made his debut February 7th.
It was terrifying, just because I knew, what had been going on, and it just scared me, what I'd been, putting the baby through, and didn't even realize it.
Matthew's mother, Marcy Cruz, says his birth was exciting, but she was worried because she used heroin during her pregnancy.
The entire pregnancy, I was worried about it, actually.
Cruz and Matthew's father decided to get clean together.
Very good.
She entered the New Vision program at 5 months pregnant.
We have a licensed social worker that works with us. We have New Vision's nursing staff that reaches out to the community and make certain that patients understand that they can come to a place where we've got a group of professionals who understand the disease, who want to provide care. They don't have to worry about being persecuted.
New Vision started here at Norton Hospital 2 years ago. Dr. Jonathan Weeks and service coordinator Paige Ross immediately realized just how much the program is needed.
We really had no idea that the need was this great. And we see on average 15 to 25 patients a month for the inpatient hospitalization piece. We could see that, doubling in the very near future.
The most used substances among patients are heroin, Suboxone, and pain pills in that order. All are opioids. Most New Vision patients are part of a medication-assisted treatment plan that includes Subutex or methadone. Patients are stabilized and sometimes weaned off the medication because it can be deadly if the mother stops using cold turkey without medical help. Marcy was given Subutex, and Matthew only showed mild symptoms of withdrawal or neonatal abstinence syndrome. He was in the hospital for 6 days and is now healthy.
I feel like because, I stayed in these programs that I'm in and, stuck with my recovery. And, just went to people whenever I needed support. Because I did that, it made it a lot easier for him.
And I'm happy to report Marcy and her partner have celebrated 6 months of sobriety. Patients do not necessarily need a doctor referral for the program. They take referrals from anyone. New Vision takes Medicaid, Medicare, and most insurance plans. New Vision also offers a program for anyone suffering from addiction at Norton Audubon Hospital. To get connected to these programs or our State of Addiction initiative, just go to WLKY.com. Jennifer Bayless, WLKY News.
A North Carolina woman is accused of stalking and threatening an Indiana teenager for 5 years. It all started when the victim received a Facebook friend request in 2012. Investigators say a dispute online turned into stalking and harassment. Court documents show Shamanique Ferguson made death threats against the victim, her family, and the business where she worked. Starting in January, investigators say Ferguson contacted 4 IU campuses, claiming the victim threatened to attack the schools.
The victim wound up being hospitalized because the defendant had made these threats, so she had to be detained to determine whether there was any validity.
Investigators say there were more than 24 false emergency calls to the victim's home, everything from a fire to an Amber Alert tip. Ferguson is facing federal charges of extortion and interstate stalking.
In a pit that had been dug on the floor of the shed.
A woman kidnapped and hidden underground. Now a man is under arrest. Next on WLKY, what the woman did that led police right to her. On WLKY tonight, Survivor airs at 8 o'clock, followed by Criminal Minds Beyond Borders at 10. Then stay tuned for WLKY News with Rick, Jay, Fred, and me.
An Ohio woman who was being held captive underground has been found safe and alive. Police found the 30-year-old stuffed in a hole under her neighbor's shed, a hole so small she could not even stand up. Dennis Dunn is now charged with kidnapping. The woman's mother reported her missing around 2 o'clock this morning. A neighbor heard her crying from inside the shed 2 hours later and contacted police.
In a pit that had been dug on the floor of the shed, and wood had been placed over the top of the pit and heavy objects placed on top of the wood to prevent her escape.
The victim is said to be doing okay. She's already been released from the hospital. Police say the man accused of taking her has a history of mental health issues.
A Cincinnati teenager is held hostage and sexually assaulted for months. The man accused in the crime agrees to plead guilty. The girl says she was forced to have sex with Cody Jackson from February to July of 2015 and got pregnant while she was held against her will. Authorities say he contacted the teenager through Facebook while under monitoring at his apartment in the abduction case. Jackson pleaded guilty and now faces 7.5 years in prison. The teenager says that sentence is not nearly enough.
I feel like he did get off easy, but I feel like he should get more counseling. I feel like he needs major help. There's something has happened to him that has made him the way he is.
Jackson's also facing federal charges, including child pornography and coercion and enticement of a minor.
The Indiana Supreme Court turned down a suspected serial killer's request to look at the constitutionality of the state's death penalty before he goes to trial. The court denied Darren Vann's request today, citing rulings and previous challenges in other Indiana cases. He argued the death penalty possibly violates the 8th Amendment, which prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. Vann is charged in the deaths of 7 women.
Police are searching for a man suspected of sexually assaulting 2 women on the IUPUI campus. The 2 crimes took place just blocks from each other, only a few days apart. Both happened in the middle of the day. Students say the crimes have put everyone on alert.
It was
just kind of scary because the building is actually the one that's connected to where we live. You know, it's just hearing that, you just realize that it could happen to anyone.
This usually doesn't happen. I feel like this hasn't really happened a lot on campus in our area, so it's definitely shocking.
In both cases, a suspect is said to have approached the victims and engaged them in conversation before the assaults.
A number of kids with autism also deal with several other health issues.
Addressing those other things can make a huge difference in their lives.
Next on WLKY, the more common ailments and what happens parents can do to help.
Stocks failed to hold gains, closing mostly lower after the White House released its tax plan. The Dow slipped 21, but is still over that 20,000 mark. The NASDAQ and S&P showed slight drops.
Cutting-edge drone technology is now helping some central Indiana firefighters with what they specialize in, search and rescue. The Bargersville Fire Department used a $10,000 grant from the Johnson County Community Foundation to buy the drone and a thermal imaging camera. Bargersville is one of only a handful of central Indiana departments with drones like this. Last week it was called to Bloomington to help search for a man who had been kidnapped and left tied to a tree for 24 hours.
Even if it's pitch black outside, we'd be able to see somebody standing in a field. So the heat that comes off of their body shows up on the camera.
The chief says a thermal camera in the sky can also help at fire scenes, locating hot spots and watching where a fire is spreading in a building.
1 in 68 children in the United States has autism. Many also struggle with other health conditions. A new report is looking at how and why they may be linked. Weijia Zhang has a story.
This is my room. 13-year-old Colby Rosenblatt often has a hard time falling and staying asleep.
It had gotten progressively worse and couldn't get him to bed because he was scared to be alone.
More than half of people with autism like Colby have sleep disturbances. A new report from Autism Speaks also shows conditions such as epilepsy and gastrointestinal problems tend to go hand in hand with the disorder.
Some of these co-occurring conditions may be due to just sort of the interplay of autism and the environment. Others are definitely related, though, to biology.
While children with autism are much more likely to have chronic GI issues, the report reveals there is little evidence that special diets, including gluten-free, help autism symptoms. Dr. Thomas Frazier says mental health issues such as anxiety and ADHD are also common.
We have to really think about them not as just having autism, but autism and whatever else is going on for them. Addressing those other things can make a huge difference in their lives.
For kids like Colby, doctors say it's important to exercise, limit screen time, and have a good bedtime routine. Colby's parents say a sleep tent helps.
On a night where Colby gets great sleep, he's happy. He feels like he's in control of his body and his emotions.
They also use white noise and nature sounds to put him at ease. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Washington.
And sometimes older children are diagnosed at a later age, but doctors explain that with autism, the symptoms were usually present when the child was younger.
Scientists created an artificial womb enough like mom's to help tiny lambs grow for a month. That boosts hope it might one day help extremely premature babies. Researchers at Children's Hospital Philadelphia think giving the tiniest preemies a few more weeks cocooned in a womb-like environment instead of incubators might encourage healthy survival. Academy Award-winning director Jonathan Demme died at the age of 73. His publicist said he had been suffering from esophageal cancer. He won the Oscar in 1991 for directing Silence of the Lambs. His follow-up, Philadelphia, won Tom Hanks a Best Actor Oscar for playing an AIDS patient. His latest concert film, Justin Timberlake and the Tennessee Kids, was released last year. Demme is survived by his wife and 3 children.
Rick is here now with a look at what's coming up tonight at 6. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Eric. U of L's president defending its athletics program, yet adding more oversight. Tonight at 6, what Papa John's founder John Schnatter said and how the university's president responded. Plus,
adding to a growing problem in the state of Kentucky that we're trying to get in front of.
drugged driving on the rise, more common now than drunk driving, how local officials are making efforts to cut down on the danger. The real superheroes, what local students are making for patients at Norton Children's Hospital to recognize their bravery. Vicki, Eric?
All right, Rick, thank you. Counting down to the Kentucky Derby.
Fred's here with a story of one trainer whose life and path is hard to imagine.
Vicki, Eric, it's an amazing story. Hello again, everybody. Kentucky Derby 143 just 10 days away, and it will be the first foray into the Run for the Roses for Gunnevera trainer Antonio Sano. The Venezuelans' path to Churchill Downs is unlike any we have ever seen before. Dan Koob has more from the backside.
Try to even imagine this. You're a prominent horse trainer in Venezuela when one day you are kidnapped for ransom, and the only way you're to be freed is if the money paid is sufficient. Some time passes, and then it happens again. That's the story of Guanabara trainer Antonio Sano.
It's a business, good deal for the people. The government is a good deal. Take minimum 20 people per day for the kidnapping. It's incredible.
Sano says when he was held against his will 8 years ago, the first time lasted but a few hours. The second time, he was held captive for 36 days.
I cry every day for Venezuela.
He's now in his first derby after moving his family to the States and training Guanabara, winner of the Fountain of Youth Stakes last month. Fellow Venezuelan and Hall of Fame jockey Javier Castellano is at the helm.
I don't know. If we have to put it together, it's hard to do that. And I think it maybe, like I said in the beginning, maybe it's meant to be, and to be all nation from Venezuela. That'd be awesome.
Despite 8 American Classic and Breeders' Cup wins, the Roses have evaded Castellano. He hopes the combination with his fellow countrymen will yield a win at the Derby.
Let's give it something back to my country and hopefully a lot of big hope.
I am proud. The old people here, the attention with me and my team, I'm very proud. This is good men, good, nice old people here.
Sano says Venezuela is now firmly in his past and America is his now. If he's able to make a trip to the Winner's Circle Saturday, May 6th, he'll feel right at home. At Churchill Downs, Dan Koob, WLKY Sports.
Thanks, Dan. What an amazing story. Coming up in a half hour, Bobby Petrino talks U of L football at today's ACC teleconference. I am Fred Cowgill, WLKY Sports.
All right, weather-wise, what a day across the region. A good dose of sunshine. Temperatures hitting 85 degrees. It's 85 outside right now. As we look ahead, we're going to be dodging raindrops and thunderstorms as we kind of maneuver our way through the Great Balloon Festival. We'll break it down for you event by event. That's coming up next.
Now, your WLKY weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
Okay, outside right now, boy, it is great. All across the viewing area, we have warm sunshine. The winds are still fairly gusty. 84 to 85 is the range around the metro. Humidity 36%. That south breeze almost 20 miles per hour. And it's going to stay rather breezy overnight tonight through much of tomorrow as well. Radar scope, though, around Louisville, no worries whatsoever. We're going to stay dry well through midnight, likely until 2 or 3 in the morning. Showers and storms are indeed blowing up out there in Illinois, working towards central Indiana, back across Missouri and Arkansas, and that's where we have at least the chance for some severe weather. Few warnings in effect, severe thunderstorm watches, and even tornado watches the farther southwest you go, but not around here. And I am not expecting any severe weather tonight nor tomorrow. This is the best threat area for some scattered showers and storms, mainly before midnight, and really all of those will stay well west of the WLKY viewing area. By tomorrow morning, that's a different story. Actually, late tonight through tomorrow morning, the showers and storms will try to work off towards the east, but in a weakened state. Nonetheless, tomorrow morning, with the Great Balloon Fest kicking off with the charity race, a chance for showers for that first event, 66, a gusty southwest breeze. So yes, that event is certainly in jeopardy. But rolling through the day tomorrow, we get rid of this first system. Sunshine returns later in the afternoon. It'll be breezy, but the good news is high pressure builds in. Those breezes should really slacken off tomorrow evening. So the glimmer going on at Waterfront Park tomorrow evening, I think we'll get that one off without a hitch as we fall back into the 60s. Should be really nice for the glimmer. Let's look ahead to Friday. From start to finish right now, looks pretty good across the region. That mixture of clouds and sunshine, the Great Balloon Glow, a huge event drawing 50,000 people on an annual basis as long as it's dry. And it does look like the weather will cooperate, upper 70s, but the storm chances will actually be going up, likely after this event later Friday night into Saturday morning because of a front stalled